Can you guys hear me now? I think I was having a mic problem. So hopefully you guys can hear me now. I was basically recalling what was happening on the news, right? About the news talking about the National Guard. They came in because of the events that happened last week, right? January 6th. Basically, to recap, I guess I was talking and you guys weren't hearing me. So sorry about that. Impromptu. So basically, I was saying the events, right? The media, they're telling us allegedly, according to the news, somehow a group out from the protesters that quote unquote came to Washington D.C. to protest, right? To protest the election or whatever, they managed to get inside the U.S. Capitol, according to what the news told us. And not only that, the people were able to get inside, break into, and the politicians, the congressmen and congresswomen were able to flee, go into those chambers, right? Get into those chambers. And then, right? And then this week, early this week, okay. All right, good. I just wanted to make sure you guys can hear me. And then this week, we're told that the government called in 20,000 National Guard members, right, to come in. And with some of the pictures you saw on the news, they're, they're laying inside, like you saw here. They're laying down, sleeping. Some of them, you can see the images, right? And people say, oh, we feel for the military, why all these Trump supporters have to do this, right? Now, what I'm about to say, I don't know if some of you guys have thought of it, right? And I'm thinking of, I'm gonna use what I've seen in history, what I've seen in the past, and what the Bible spoke of, right? There's a passage in the Bible where Christ was giving his disciples, telling him things about what will happen, regarding the Israelites, Jerusalem, and all that stuff, right? There's a quote he said, when you shall see armies compass in, flee into the wilderness. What he was basically referring to, he was saying, if you notice a strong Roman military presence within your borders, within your town, within Jerusalem, within your state, that's your sign to get out of there, to get to the chapel. Get out. Come on, get out now. Right? Now, I don't know if you guys can see that. This is one picture it's showing you within the U.S. Capitol. Armed National Guard members. They got weapons and everything, right? What the news is saying, they're there for protection concerning allegedly that a group of armed patriots are going to be marching to D.C. In response to what happened last week. This is what the news is saying, right? Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, I missed some of the message. Dale, peace to you. Batman Beyond. Okay, you said you are at work. Um, let's see. Yeah, have fun at work. Don't worry. You good, man. Now, what I'm about to say, maybe Batman, you probably felt it, right? Now, watch this. The news, CNN, Fox News are saying that the National Guard is there to protect the politicians and the National Guard so that the protesters, when they do show up, they won't be able, they won't threaten to get inside again like they did last week, right? Right? But this is what I feel and what I interpret what's going on. See, from my perspective, how I interpret this news that they told us, seeing the pictures, because I'll give you what I interpret, and I'll give you what the message is being conveyed internationally, right? Because I tell you, don't look at what they're saying, look what they're doing. But a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? This is the image everybody in the world are seeing. The great nation of America, this is what they're showing the world. Now, this is my interpretation. This is my interpretation. The National Guard, they're not there to protect the quote-unquote politicians. You guys have seen Game of Thrones, right? Right? This is the image to show you a politician. Was it Pelosi giving the military food to be like, this is the image they're showing you in the news. But here's the question I'm gonna ask you. What if this is a curfew? What if this is a lockdown? What if the National Guard is there not to protect the politicians, but to actually protect the patriots from them? What if the National Guard is there from the inside in, locking them? Huh? Did you think of that? Has that thought ever crossed your mind? Because you have to remember, the Capitol is the symbol of American laws. This is where laws are passed. And don't you think it's a sign to all leaders out there when you have the military made there, in and out? But the message they're telling you, they're there for protect. Listen to this: 20,000 armed men at the U.S. Capitol, inside and outside. And let me ask you: you think they're there to protect them from quote-unquote armed militias? Open your mind and think. Really, listen. Open your mind and think for a minute and throw away mainstream rhetoric. Use your instinct. Use your survival instinct and look at this without any noise. Look at the image. Look at what happened in the past. Look at, don't even go 30 years. Look at what happened in Iraq. Look at what happened in Libya. Look at what happened throughout the world when it comes to military presence and politicians. Now, let me give you symbolism when it comes to warfare, even when it comes to modern warfare. Usually when there's war, right, especially civil war, and the guerrillas who are fighting against the current regime, the rules of engagement is what? If you take over the capital, you win the battle. Doesn't matter. So let's say the current regime, let's say, controls 90% of the military. If the guerrillas manage to take down the capital, technically the war is over because the capital is the symbol, is where the heart of the nation is. Unless, even after takedown, the military manages to take the capital back. But most of the time, it is unlikely. Once the capital is down, the morale of the military goes down. Why? Because if you take in hostage, keyword hostage, the politicians and the people who pass the law, who's gonna enforce the law? You got the politicians and the lawmakers in hostage. Now let's bring back to this. Now I'm gonna ask you. The news says the National Guard is there to protect them from armed militias, right? From our angry Trump supporters who are taking up arms and are coming there to make their statement. And I'm asking you, what if the National Guard are there? This is a question now. This is how I'm interpreting this. Remember, this is not a fact. This is an opinion. This is an interpretation. This is just an observation, a reaction to what's happening. What if the National Guard is there to hold Congress hostage? Just think about this for a moment. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to think about what I just said. Now, again, this is my interpretation based on things that happened in the past that we know from history. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just looking too deep into what I'm seeing. But that's a huge statement, guys. Now, I thought maybe, oh, okay, we're going to call the National Guard, so they can protect. And I'm like, okay, I know there's a military base over there in Washington, D.C. Maybe the National Guard, they're gonna set up tents outside of the military base, maybe in one of those parks outside of the Capitol. And then when they need them, the commanders or the chain of command are gonna be like, okay, you're gonna set up here, outside. Listen, keyword, outside of the U.S. Capitol, not inside, so that way the regular or the daily activities of politicians can go forth. But no, this is the image that they gave us. It could be propaganda to give us an image that we see, but if it is true that the National Guard are actually sleeping within the Capitol, that they're putting all these great men and women that people, say are quote unquote heroes, servicemen, putting them in uncomfortable position, right? Like this, sleeping on the floor, marble floor, no pillow, no nothing, right? Maybe some of them. I mean, look at the pictures. Talk about, right? The hoaxy hoax. They're not wearing face covering. What's up with that? Right? I see Pelosi wearing one. I see one military guy wearing them. But most of them are not wearing one. And they're what? They're not respecting the 6 feet apart, right? Right? Like, what's going on here? And then people call me crazy, right? And then look at this one right here. But this, you know. So this is what I think, guys. I my opinion is, what if this is a hostage situation leading up to the inauguration? I could be wrong, but hey, what if I'm right? But I'll leave that up for you to think. That was just something, as I was sitting, I was thinking. I'm like, maybe I'm not going too crazy to think this deep, right? Now, let's look at it from the international point of view, because that adds into what I'm thinking too. What do you think the image is going overseas to all nations looking at this as America calling in National Guard because they're nervous about their armed citizens, because everybody knows that Americans love guns. Everybody knows they're here. They know that Americans are armed to the teeth when it comes to their citizens. That they promote the Second Amendment. They're all about guns and liberty, right? So the message to the world, they be like, wait a minute, America is having its own problem. Yet they come out here policing the world, telling us that we need democracy, that we need to support human rights, we need this and this. Why is America showing their right arm, their military strength against their own citizen? What's going on? But they tell us we need to bring democracy. Like you guys know where I'm going with this. I'm just giving you an example how the world sees America when it comes to policing, right? Because America is the most powerful nation in the world, you know, military-wise too. There's no nation out there with the budget when it comes to the military as America. Even if you put NATO's force cannot match American military. I'm sorry, that's a fact. If it wasn't for the U.S. military, NATO won't have its strength. So there's that. But the image that they're showing, they say, what is the symbolism in this, America? What's going on with y'all? Like, what's going on? So there's a lot of things going on in the world, but something I was like, I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't get a chance to. So I'm like, yeah, man. Hey, I could be right. What's it? You may be right. I may be crazy. Oh, what's it? You may be wrong, but you may be right. So, hey, I hope I'm wrong, that I'm saying too deep. I hope this is just a propaganda to show to send the message, the rhetoric that, the politicians want us to have, that, we must protect ourselves because, Donald Trump is, he's kind of going crazy and this and that. The president, all this election, blah, 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 blah. So we need to take every precaution we can. But I'm like, hey, I've seen things. We've seen history. We got to have our eyes open. Show your third eye. Make sure, see, your instinct, I would say something you feel deep down. Hey, don't minimize it. There's always something into that. So I don't know, man. We a lot of things are happening. We just are hanging there as citizens. We really have no power, no say in the matter, but it's something to talk about. Something to think about, something to expect. 2020 is the year of expectations. It's just 2020 reloaded, nothing new. But look, Pelosi giving the military pizzas. This is all, props and all that stuff. But it's very deep, that the government will pull 20,000 armed men to come in inside the U.S. Capitol, not staying at the military base not too far, but within the United States Capitol where laws are made. And that doesn't alarm anybody out there to think deep and wonder why such thing will happen, especially in this climate. Am I the only one who thought of this? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one throughout the whole nation who thought this way. Maybe I'm just crazy, thinking too deep, watching too many movies. Maybe I'm like, this is what happens most of the time, or reading too much books, history, looking at how coup d'etats are made and all that stuff. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, a lot of people say this is America, we're a nation of law. Things like this will never happen. You're just looking into deep. Hey, I'm like, hey, hopefully I'm wrong. But today is what? The 14th. So we got 6 more days. 6 more days until Inauguration Day. So it will be interesting. But yeah, I know it's early morning. Most people are at work. I wish I could have chopped it up with somebody who wasn't working. Maybe we could talk about this. But maybe next time. I just wanted to come on and be like, hey, this is something that was bothering me in my mind, thinking about, current events and what's going on. It's interesting. Yeah, satanic pizza. Shout out to you, Dale. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're having a great morning. But that's something that was bothering me. Like I was just thinking about it. I know some people may be like, oh, they may be laughing at my breakdown. They might be like, I'm crazy to think this way, but I'm like, hey, we've seen it happen in the past. Even if you study American history, like y'all remember, like at one point in history, I don't know, I think it was after the Independence Day, where I guess British forces from Canada invaded the capital, and they burned some parts of DC. I don't know, it's been a while since I read that history. But yeah, I recall. Yeah, at one point in time, the United Kingdom invaded. After America got its independence or something, where the British forces I don't know if it was British forces or something, but they got into the U.S. Capitol and did some damage. That was like over 100 years ago. So some people be like, "Oh, that will never happen." I'm like, "Well, how can you say never happened when it happened before?" Like people say, "Oh, yeah, Civil War, that would never happen. Look what happened." I'm like, "But it did happen. Like, how can you say something will never happen when it happened before? Like, it's dumb. Like, it's stupid. Just say it's unlikely now, but don't say it never happened." I'm like, it did. It happened. I wouldn't be talking about it if it didn't. North versus South, like it happened. Like it's history. Like everybody knows it happened. But we're in 2021, 21st century, and this event, man, like I say, we're living in some interesting times. A lot of things are going on. A lot of people are confused. They don't know what to do, especially under this pandemic hoax. Silencing the people who can see. They don't want you to speak on it. Yeah, I know. Like YouTube don't like me when I talk this kind of subject. So yeah, I think this is just gonna be a short live. I just wanted to mention, guys, what I've been thinking about this whole thing that's been happening since last week. So, what do you guys think? If you have any, if you have your opinion or your own observation, feel free to leave in the comments below once I end this stream, whenever you get a chance. But hey, if you want me to have a live one so we can talk about it, feel free to let me know. I don't know if I could do it today. We'll see. But depending on the feedback, I'll probably have another stream so we can talk about this. But yeah, that's something that crossed my mind, and I was wondering if maybe somebody else out there thought of the same thing based on the images that I showed earlier. Especially this one. What does the world think, and what do you think about these images of U.S. military, the National Guard, sleeping on the floor, hard concrete floor, for a means to quote unquote protect our nation's capital and the Congress people who work in it, and something not clicking in your mind that, hey, what if this is a hostage situation and not a protection, right? Like, before I go, I'm like, guys, just think. And for those of you who've been on my channel, do y'all remember this pastor? If like after this whole pandemic, I think it was like in the summertime, that came up with a video. It was like a 20-hour video where he was basically talking about his intel concerning the president and certain group of people in the military, talking about what goes on the inside and like the division within the ranks and stuff like that. The people who are for him and those who are against, like the divide and conquer scheme. And that pastor had like he had a good videos, and I think YouTube got rid of it basically under the guise of I guess misinformation of propaganda or whatever. But he had like a whole sermon, but then he on his channel, on his YouTube channel, he chopped it up, and basically I think he chopped up 15 minutes where he was spilling the bean based on his intel. And then I saw back, and I'm like, after this whole thing, this whole election and all this stuff, and this thing happening that you see on your screen, and I'm like, does that raise any alarm to y'all, like, of what's going on or what's about to happen or what may happen? So, like I say, we shall see what happens. Let me give y'all 2 minutes. Whoever, I see some people are in the building. Shout out to everybody. Good morning. I see Omega Dreads in the building with his crazy self. Hopefully you're not smoking anything this morning, huh? Shout out to you, bro. Yella, welcome to jump on the panel if you want. I dropped the link earlier. I'm still trucking, but if not, after 2 minutes, I'll just probably say thank you guys and see you on the next stream. But I would really love to hear some feedback and see if you guys thought of what I thought, or you had a different thought. But to me, seeing and hearing about 20,000 armed National Guard members called in for emergency purposes to come within the U.S. Capitol, where laws are made, and they're inside the military place, armed, right? Armed to the teeth, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's so great! It's such a great sight!" You know, God bless America and all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. God bless America. But I'm like, well, why have armed people within lawmakers? rubbing shoulders. And I saw a Twitter of a politician tweeting, say, "Oh, it's a shout out to our military." And he said, "Everywhere I'm walking through the Capitol from one building to the next, he said, I'm seeing all of our servicemen sleeping on the floor," and put a sad face and be like, "This is what happened when we have all these extremists marching to our Capitol and breaking into our quarters and all that stuff, right? This is how the media is giving it to you. Like, we need to do this because Trump, right?" But then I turn around and be like, wait a minute. Are you assuming that they're there for your safety and not for your hostility position to keep you in? Can't live, sir. Can't live, ma'am. Stay right where you are. We we have direct order from our higher ranks. We are here to do as we told, not because you feel some kind of way, not because you make laws, but because we are told what to do, and that's law, huh? But what do I know? I mean, nobody on YouTube. This is just my crazy thinking. But maybe I'm just the only one who thought of it like that way, who had that epiphany, you know. So, what do you guys think? The panel is open. You're welcome to jump in. If not, I'll just end the show. Just end it. End it. End it. End it. Yeah, yeah. Omega. That's what I'm feeling. Like my dictatorship radar rang because I'm from a dictatorship country, so I've seen stuff like this happen. You know, I could be wrong. Maybe America is different because America has set the example as a nation that follows its law, stands on the Constitution, and it's unlikely to happen. So I could be wrong. I could be looking too deep into this. So yeah, maybe too much fasting. Yeah, too much not eating after a few hours. I'm hallucinating. Yeah, but like I say, maybe I might be the only one, but I know I have some of my subscribers who are military men, either prior military men or current military members. And shout out to my Simplify brothers out there. One of my homies, ex-Marine. So maybe I'll send him a text message and be like, "Hey, what do you think?" Like, I'll tell him what I feel and see if he feels the same way. If it's not what I think it is, you know. But I wished some of them were, awake right now so they could jump on the panel so we could chop it up. But I guess everybody's at work right now, so maybe on the next stream. So thank you guys for stopping by. I don't want to keep this stream too long since I wanted this to be an open panel so I could talk to you guys. But if not, hopefully I'll see you guys on the next stream. Be safe, stand strong, and don't let the media play your mind. So peace, and have a great morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are.